All right. Ready?
Yeah. And that was one. I'll go on this one.
All right. Welcome to Love Talk. We've decided today that our band name, unless we think of something better, is going to be novel approach. It kind of syncs with our coaching method, which is a novel approach. But I hope you enjoy.
Okay. Baby, do you understand me now? Sometimes I feel a little mad. Oh well, don't you know that no one alive can always be an angel? When everything goes wrong, I seem bad. Oh, but I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Baby, sometimes I'm so carefree with a joy that's hard to hide. Oh, and sometimes it seems that all I have to do is worry, and then you're bound to see my other side. Oh, but I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I seem edgy, I want you to know I never mean to take it out on you. Life has its problems, and I have my share. And that's one thing I never want to do. Baby, don't you know I'm only human, and there's thoughts like any other one. Sometimes I find myself alone regretting some little thing, some little simple thing God. Oh my, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
Hope you
Hey
enjoy.
everyone. So we're back. This is episode 13 of Love Talk. We started streaming on YouTube as well simultaneously last week.
So episode number 2 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Tubular.
It's the 13th, but the second time that we're doing it.
So welcome, take a seat, relax, enjoy a little.
Yeah, welcome everyone. So this week our topic is misunderstandings in relationships. This is actually a segue from last time, and we'll get to that in just a second.
So last week, in our pursuit to talk about difficult relationships that are suffocating and you're trying to get out of, we brought in 2 special guests who from 2 different religions, and this could be religious or not or whatever, but from 2 different religions who had happened to have come from cults, and they were kind enough to speak of their experience. So there were a few things that were mentioned because it was quite controversial, so we want to address a few of those.
The first being, they themselves called their experience having come from a cult, but we understand that especially for the other guest who had mentioned what religion he came from, that many people who belong to that religion don't consider it a cult. So he was only sharing what had been his particular experience, and we did get quite a few comments from people who were either from that religion in the past who are presently in that religion, and they had said that they didn't experience any of the things he did. And we definitely hear that and understand. And it was not our intention to say that his truth is everyone's truth. He was just sharing it as it had been for him.
I mean, we all have our own truths. We all have our own experiences. You can take 10 people in a room listening to the exact same thing, and there will be 10 completely different stories about the experience that those individuals had. And that does not mean anything is an absolute. As they say in Star Wars, only Sith deal in absolutes, yes? So we do not want to, by say any means, because of one person's experience, like for example, in said religion and many religions, they have specifics about whether they should eat meat or whether they should drink caffeine or various other things. And depending on the individual household and the structure of the culture within that household, some things are okay. In one household, coffee could be okay, but pop, or for you West Coasters, soda. Could not be okay. Other cultures say not to eat ham, or a wide plethora of things that have different level of strictnesses and what people consider to be a must for their belief, and may not be the same belief for somebody who also feels they follow the same religion. So
we just wanted to make sure that we got that message across, that we're coming from a really respectful place, and that that episode was not even supposed to be about religion really, but the focus kind of went to that because he had mentioned what religion he came from. The purpose of that episode was really to focus on people who had been in situations that they wanted to leave. And his case may be different from someone else's, even if you both come from the same religion. Yeah, I've experienced it myself, having been raised Catholic. Well, my immediate family is really not very religious, but I mean, my background, having gone to a Catholic school, I've seen firsthand what it's like. And I've also heard from other people experiences that were way stricter than mine, or way more lax. So it's really different, even though we're both Catholic. I'm not that is just my background. I don't consider myself any religion, just universal, coming from a place of love.
I believe it's all about just showing love and respect to anything and everyone around you as best as you can,
regardless of what you identify as. Yeah, and so that is a good segue into our topic today, because it's about misunderstandings in relationships. So, and
feel free, of course, if you're curious, check out our episode last week.
The previous one, yeah.
Give us a thumbs up if you like it. You can give us a thumbs down if you want as well. But understand, there was no intention of hate or anything like that. It was all just two individuals' perspectives, and how their life has evolved since.
Yeah, and it's always up to viewers to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. And you may also know from personal experience that it's not like that at all for you. Yeah. So no absolutes at all. Okay. So misunderstandings in relationships. So why do misunderstandings occur in the first place?
Well, I guess going into what we were just talking about, religious norms, cultural norms, things that you've been raised upon that to you just seem like the everyday thing. Some people always say grace before going to eat. Some people feel it's necessary to always excuse yourselves from the table. Some people just sit in front of the television. These are just off the top of the head couple of examples, but not being open-minded, understanding that we all. So a TV show that I'd recommend anybody to check out, it's called Kung Fu. It came out in the 70s with, I can't remember what his name is, but there was an episode in it talking about koi fish in a pond, and the master was said to young grasshopper, I'm sure most of us have heard that, how many universes are in this pond? And he was like, I don't know. And the sensei was like, there are 7. And because there are 7 fish in that pond, and that could be 7 people, everybody perceiving things in their own way. So, and if those individuals can't perceive the possibility that everybody else is seeing things through their eyes, not through their own eyes. David Carradine, thank you, Dad.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the Carradines, but I didn't want to say who because it might have been wrong. It wasn't like on the tip of my tongue.
Well, yeah, taking Carradine. So that is a big thing about it, not being open-minded. Another one, plain and simple, stubbornness. We all are, well, safe to say the majority of us, trying not to do the absolute thing, have experienced a level of stubbornness where maybe there's that little Jiminy Cricket in the back of your head that's just like, dude, shut up. Come on, you know you're off base here, but for some reason you just want to stick to your guns and you want to, you know, keep pushing that, even though you may already know that it's not the best way to approach, or who knows, many other reasons. What are the reasons?
Misunderstandings could definitely occur because sometimes we assume. So when we think that we already know what a certain situation is like, even if we don't really have a lot of information, there may be that tendency. So yeah, for misunderstandings to occur. So I'm going to give an example of something that's like part assumption and part due to cultural norms and family norms. So I'm sure that this is also true for other cultures, but I'll speak for Filipinos. Filipinos are generally closely knit. So it's very common for Filipinos to live together even when the kids have already gotten married or even when the kids have really good jobs. The parents are in no hurry to kick them out of the house.
Out of like leaving the nest.
Yeah, like everyone in a setup like that
they have
actually
a well-knit
enjoys.
Circle. They're happy. They're fulfilled. You know, they do not have necessarily the spouse and the children, and they, you know, there's an equilibrium that they are happy to continue with. Right?
Yeah, and sometimes, and the reason I mentioned that is because it's different in other cultures where as soon as you turn 18 or maybe even younger or maybe slightly older than 18, the kids have to get out of the house because it's all about independence, all about being able to take care of yourself. And like in our case, you know, a lot of people know I live with my siblings and all that, my parents too, and it's not even that sort of situation where I never left the house. I left home when I was 21. And I'm just storytelling here because, you know, no one is really owed an explanation, but it's a roommate situation. It's not like living under your parents' roof. It's very different. And sometimes people assume, oh, you know, you must have never left home, or you must, you know, like be just mooching, or you must be, without even understanding the cultural norm, the family norm. And yeah, it is my goal to have a place of my own because I really do want like my own personality in my own home. But by all means, you know, sharing a home with like my siblings and then my family in general, it doesn't come from this place of what other people would assume.
Well, there's this...
And none of us were in a relationship when we made that arrangement. You know, we didn't have any significant others, and we figured, we all get along. We love each other. We enjoy each other's company. So we're going to be roommates. Yeah.
On having the interesting dynamic of being able to experience a relationship with these people that at one point was the dynamic of parent to child, but now you are adults. Now you can have a whole new type of relationship of potential openness and connection that as the ignorant child could not have even fathomed. And before you know it, it's gone, it's done. You're no longer with them. So having that opportunity, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because where we are coming from is because everybody pays their own rent, their own utilities, is everyone is sharing in it. We're not like living under our parents' roof and following their rules. It's a cultural thing. And that's, yeah.
It's like, or you can go on Craigslist and
yeah, exactly.
enjoy some roommates that, well, turn out to be kind of full of it.
Because we didn't want to.
And, well, in general, you end up having a really not as enjoyable time because these people portray themselves in a way. Yes, I'm speaking from personal experience. And then it turns out that they're completely other people. Where with siblings, you've known them your whole life. Sure, the dynamic changes. Sure,
you might argue quite a bit.
But you still have a good, beautiful understanding of who everyone is to have a more successful roommate mentality. And for anybody who's had roommates, I mean, come on. Don't we all have that one horror story? At least one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I think, and I feel from personal experience is a good example of misunderstandings. Like, judgments ensue because people assume that they know what's going on. We just all figured, like I said, it's cultural, but coming from the place of why not enjoy it while it lasts? And besides, our parents being older now do have more security having their kids nearby because they kind of get freaked out thinking that if they lived in a home and they're surrounded by people who are dying every day, that it's going to affect their own well-being because it's psychological.
In many ways, it's a big win-win.
Yeah.
It can take a lot of stress off, especially living in the Bay Area where some people have this idea where you have to work 3 jobs to survive. And, for a lot of people, it's true. You got to. So. Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense if you don't. It doesn't make sense if you don't have to. Like if people love each other and can support each other and come from a more tribal place and you get along just fine. Yeah, of course, it feels great having your own place. I'm not putting that down at all. I'm just explaining that
there can be pros found in being with those that you know really well versus the random individual that is a shoot of dice to see if things are really going to fall together.
Yeah.
But other reasons that, to segue back to
reasons why misunderstandings occur.
A very common thing is the need to be right, or often the fear to be wrong. When you look at it, when you think about it, they seem very, very similar, and I guess in many ways they are, but they're also very different. But that desire to have to be right or inability to be wrong can put blinders on that can make, well, a lot of misunderstandings.
Yeah, and then there's also programmed patterns from the past, like from past people, past relationships. If you've gotten so used to a certain kind of person acting, I know this kind of sounds vague, but we'll give a more specific example in a moment. If you get so used to, let's say the people that you're in relationships with acting a certain way, like they always yell at you, maybe you're expecting that. That's what's going to happen next time. So you're already like shielding yourself before it even happens. You could give that example.
Like, for example, well, we're going to talk about we thought about this for a minute. Difference between assumptions, program patterns, and preconceived notions. So the first program pattern that we felt wasn't completely an assumption or a preconceived notion that I thought of was I've dated multiple vegetarians, and I've had a decent spectrum of them, but there's typically has been a consistency of, even though they're okay that I eat meat, there's nose up in the airish about it, or even with one of my previous relationships where I'd have to floss and brush, and if any dishware was touched by meat, it'd have to be thrown away. And falling under the preconceived notion that, I don't know if I'm mostly vegetarian, but I also like my meat. I'm an omnivore.
You don't discriminate.
I don't, exactly. I don't discriminate. My belief structure is based upon having love and respect for all things and wanting all things to be treated with love and respect. And it doesn't matter if it has a face or not. But being with vegetarians have often led to just frustration sometimes. Whereas when I got with this beautiful vixen who is a vegetarian, I found things to be completely different. And I almost didn't
believe it.
Well, initiate dating. Just because I was like, do I want to go through that again? I've went through it multiple times. Do I want to go through it again? And then when I go out with her and she's like, you get whatever meat stuff you want. I'll pick it off. You can eat that or throw it away, whatever. And I'm just like, what? I don't got to pull out my toothbrush and floss and all this kind of stuff I'm doing. She's like, no, you get what you want. I'll pick between it, and for me, that was I had such a preconceived notion. And though my preconceived notion is, because I try to broaden my expectations to be, wider than some people, but it's still, she did not fit within that spectrum that I had found to be kind of my norm. And, well, I'm glad I took a shot.
No, me too. Well, that's not the only area not the only reason why you almost didn't go for me. Other things like the whole partying thing, right?
That too is a big preconceived notion. I like to smoke pot. I like to drink. It doesn't mean I'm doing it every day by any means, but I have dated people that are big stoners, but for whatever reason are anti-drinking, and people that are big on drinking, but anti-smoking, to the point that it's like, you are the devil. If you smoke pot, you are the devil, because I smoked it once when I was really drunk and I got sick. So of course that means it is horrible. Or I don't even fully understand the ex-stoners mentality of why having more than 2 beers was worth having a fight over. But having that preconceived notion that, yes, Dad, thank you. He's being silly. And he says I need a Tic Tac. It's true. I'm a little stinky right now. No, I don't know. But having that preconceived notion was another reason that I was reluctant, because I was sick of being judged. I'm under the belief, which my father taught me very well, is that whole continued use despite negative consequences, as well as if you're not hurting anybody, it shouldn't really matter. I kind of wanted to swear in that to express myself more, but I did not. And if it looks weird because our heads are bouncing back and forth, it's because we're on YouTube here and Facebook Live
there.
Here. So we're trying to mix that here so we're not all
we're
bobbly
not
heading
on just one camera. We're giving love to both.
But when getting with this sexy individual, understanding that, yeah, and I even told her from the beginning, I'm like, if I found I'm doing drugs to a point that there is negative consequences, I want her to kick me in the butt. I want her to put me in my place. But if I'm not, I should be able to have my fun. I should be able to indulge if I want. I should be able to expand my mind in the way that I want without fear of judgment and disrespect and various other things that I'm confident many of you, so two fingers kind of point at both screens, have dealt with in relationships when you are not hurting anybody. So for me, those are two big examples of preconceived notions. I mean, do you think that kind of covers it, or do you have anything you'd like to share?
Well, preconceived notions, because they kind of do overlap. I mean, there are differences.
Ish.
Because I was going to say, like, thinking certain people are a particular way based on what we know of them, based on their ethnicity, their age, their gender. You know, we tend to have preconceived notions of people based on those, even if we don't intend to. They just kind of like get programmed in our minds or in our subconscious based on experiences that we have in the past, or based on what we were taught. Yeah, some people have had to deprogram themselves so that they could be more open-minded.
And it's a process. The first step in that process is accepting the possibility that you have the preconceived notion, that you are making assumptions, that you have,
that you're not being
open-minded. You have programmed patterns from past people.
Because we all do it. Yeah.
So another one, though similar but different, is the assumptions. In a way, they are all kind of assumptions, but an example that we have for assumptions that did not really fall under programmed patterns from past people or preconceived notions is when you're talking to somebody and you're confident you know what they're going to say, and you often respond to what you know they are going to say, and that's not what they were going to say
at all.
Not at all. Not even close. Maybe close. Sometimes close. But in general, not that close. That is an example of assumptions. That leads to misunderstandings because you're responding to what you assume they're going to say, and then reacting to what you assume they're going to say, and then they're reacting to your assumptions, and
it just turns into an argument. Yeah. So those are some reasons that we came up with why misunderstandings occur, so that we are aware of our tendencies and why we even get into them. So we also have a list of some possible preventive measures and solutions.
Possible solutions.
Yeah.
And to clarify, did we hit preconceived notions? Because I was saying preconceived notions, but in reality, I was thinking programmed patterns from past people. So going into the preconceived notions is more of a...
Yeah. Oh, I had already said what was on the board.
So that convinced folks.
So if you have something else.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
And that, too, is sometimes thinking something was said when it wasn't said, or was said when it wasn't said, because the mind goes the way it is. So another great example. That was planned.
Just so we can give an example.
Yes.
Yeah. So preventive measures and some possible solutions to misunderstandings.
A big one for me, especially when dealing with high energy people. I'm not saying names or anything.
And the funny thing is, a lot of people that thought, okay, many people watching this probably don't know that about me because they know me to be really calm. I'll hear them laugh.
Who's that?
Yeah, like many people know me to be so different from that side of me that you've seen. And it's because different parts of us come out with different people. Yeah.
On having a level of comfortability to be able to express oneself. Something that
No, I was going to say, you can continue.
Yeah, something that we both being, what did one of my previous roommates say? Having big personalities is when we get passionate, it's like getting hit by a big wave. And it can be a big, positive, warm, comfy wave, but still a wave has a lot of power to it. It can throw you back. It drains your energy. It doesn't have to be negative at all. Oftentimes when I'm too much for people, it's because I'm happy, because I'm excited, and they're just like, woo! Dude,
and
too
even
much,
then
too
they
much.
Can't take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So big energy does not by any means mean negativity at all, but it's intense. So for those that have higher energy,
higher levels, yeah.
One of the simple ways to assist when communicating is trying to maintain a level voice, level tone. Because I can talk the way I was talking, being like, yeah, or I can be like, so, the way I was talking, yeah. And that can make a huge, huge difference upon how we communicate with each other. So, other than that...
Other solutions, preventive measures and possible solutions. This one might seem obvious, but we'll state it anyway. No attacking and no name calling. Because that just takes things to a whole nother level. Like when you start addressing someone as, bitch. Things like that. I won't even keep going. But
various other types of not being very nice to each individual can make things far more challenging.
Yeah, and when I said that, I didn't mean in the playful way, because I do, I am aware that people call each other that as a term of endearment. Yeah, I meant it in the not favorable way.
And it can be something, it can be little words. Everybody has a different
trigger
words that can, again, misunderstanding, again, being raised in a certain way, talking in a certain way. Some people could find being called a jerk something they laugh at. Other people, that could be something where they're like, I don't like being called a jerk. Or I had an ex that would, if I got passionate, she'd say I was spazzing. And for me, that was a big trigger word. I was like, you could say I'm freaking out. You could say a lot of different things, but use the word I'm spazzing. No, I don't like that. No. Shame on that. And to many people, that word could mean nothing. But for me, that was a big trigger word. So
being mindful that people have trigger words.
And especially if you don't know them that well.
And they seem like so offended by something that you didn't mean as offensive at all.
Yeah, recognizing you don't know what their life was like. You don't know what bullies may have picked on them. You don't know so much. The majority of everything in this world, we don't know. We know next to nothing. That, too, is actually something we don't even have on our list, but I use as a great form of power for me is the acceptance that I know nothing. And when I go into situations recognizing things I don't fully understand, I just remind myself, I know nothing. And with that understanding, I can find a level of calmness of accepting that this situation is outside of my shoes. I am not fitting into it. I don't understand. But I understand that I don't understand. And as weird as that may sound, that gives me clarity, and that allows me to be able to view it in a clearer, opener, more perceptive way.
Yeah, and then there's also another preventive measure, which would be, was it something your
my
dad said?
dad's comment. He had asked about, we have a Chihuahua here that is kind of not very nice.
Well, she's better now thanks to your training.
And it took a lot of, effort to get her to be better, and she's significantly better. And that's something I'm not going to really go into right now. But dog training, apparently I have a knack for it. That's something I'm trying to
turn into a career.
Yeah. But, she went from trying to bite everybody to not. So, hey, thumbs up.
Yeah. And she listens to you now, too. Like, if you tell her to stop. Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so back to preventive measures and possible solutions. Another one would be to recognize when you may not be in the best mood so that you can just not engage with people at that moment. Because, come on, no matter how nice we are, what if you're hormonal, or what if, you're grumpy, there might be a part of you that's actually looking for an argument.
We want to add kindling to our fire, and we want to blaze.
Like an outlet. It's because we are looking for an outlet, and it just so happens sometimes to be that. Yeah, so when you recognize that you're already not in the best of moods, you could either just acknowledge that to yourself, and then that could help, because then at least you know that you're not, at least you admit it to yourself so you can do something about it. Or if it's just not, if you're not feeling great at all, not yourself, then just don't engage for the time being.
And that going into our next thing is, when engaging and things get heated, I like to think of this as the Marshall and Lily timeout. It is perfectly okay to be like, timeout. Let's continue this a little bit later.
For anyone who's not familiar, Marshall and Lily are from the show How I Met Your Mother.
And they have this beautiful thing, which is something I've dealt with in relationships before, whereas you have people coming over, or you're going out to an event and you got into it a little bit, and you or the other individual decide that they want to continue this, even though you're amongst a bunch of other people. And there's that old saying, don't hang your dirty laundry in front of other people, type of a thing. So whether it's in front of other people or with what we talked about before, having certain levels of intensity that can be too much. Sometimes you hit that point where we've had talks before where they're not loud, they're not hostile, but the energy level hits to a certain level where I'm just like, I need a break right now. It's like,
because I'm like, I could keep going,
Yes, very much can.
Yeah.
And I recognize through a lot of the work that I've done, self-work, shadow work, to know that I'm hitting my peak. And if I hit past my peak, I might get loud, I might get angry, I don't want to get there. So I have to call a Marshall Lily timeout. And I don't necessarily actually say that, but I might actually in futures. But it's still basically the same thing, being like, I need some space. You haven't done anything wrong. We're just two very intense individuals talking about something, and my bandwidth is full. My cup is about to overflow. I want to be able to stay centered. This is me recognizing that my alarm system is going, and it's time for me to, take a break and breathe for a little while, because I don't want to get angry. I don't want to say mean things, but I understand that it is human when we go past that threshold, when our fuse is done, when our cup is overflowing. That control just starts to slip away. To quote from Shawshank Redemption, slips away like a fart in the wind. Not verbatim, but yes. So being able to recognize that, being able to have your higher self see that your quota is hit and you need a little break, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a beautiful thing. We are ideally only human.
Because we can continue later, like when we're calmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's really something that matters a lot. Yeah, but
that's it. Plus, it gives you time to ruminate upon the information and come to clarity in that cooler state that, well heated, a computer does not work as well when it's overheated. We are a machine. So when we are overheated, we don't work as well either. So being able to recognize that and take a chill moment is essential. Yes, it's like muscles, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Is a great example. When you're working out and you're pumped, you can't lift anymore. When you're in a fight or an argument, there's a point where you can't handle anymore, and it's going to lead to injury. Whether that's saying something mean, whether it's whatever, or tearing a muscle, it is something that is not beneficial for any party. So respect that. It's okay to take a break. That doesn't mean you're done. But it's respecting each other, knowing each other well enough to take that moment and breathe. Namaste.
Just taking a moment to see.
So my dad asks, are there misunderstandings that you two have overcome that have strengthened your relationship? Go for that. That's
I need time to think about that. There's so much.
I would say yes. I mean, we get intense about things. We've never had like put on the boxing gloves type of argument or anything. But
that's something that I never ever want to do.
Yeah, but we have gotten. Well, I've had a couple times, just speaking for myself, where I'm just like, all right, let's continue this later. I need some time alone. And she's typically been very, very good about respecting that.
Just the first couple of minutes.
Sometimes I get like a really long text message or something.
One time.
And I have to express, this is still continuing this.
That was one.
But even with that, was a learning experience. And each time we are better from it. We are stronger from it. It's not led to something that's mean or violent or anything like that.
Or calling each other names.
Yeah, or hostile.
Yeah, no.
I call her a stinker all the time, but that's with love.
That's one thing that I never...
It's because she doesn't stink, because if she did, I would make up a different name.
Well, not only that, I think you wouldn't be with me if I were an actual, if you couldn't stand...
Considering how strong my sense of smell is, yeah.
So... YouTube people, hold on 1 second, because the Facebook connection is trying to reconnect.
Yep, bandwidth.
Now. Does that sometimes, where it disconnects and then...
Not enough internet bandwidth. It can be annoying.
Yeah.
Are you bandwidthing, Anna?
Huh?
Are you bandwidthing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Bakla.
Why?
Because our internet just cut out.
That was a term of endearment, by the way, if you caught that.
Okay. We're just asking. So, well, YouTube,
hey.
Facebook is blowing it right now. I mean, we love you, Facebook. Oh, and it's back.
Yeah, so we're back.
They probably missed that first half. And that's okay.
We disappeared for a little bit because it was reconnecting. So...
Welcome back.
Anna was asking, is it true that men and women have different ways of communicating?
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
But at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You can be gay or lesbian or asexual. We all, depending on the way that we're raised, have our own unique way of communicating.
Yeah, there's a general.
There are some stereotypes that, I mean, they're stereotypes for a reason. So there's that level of truth with that. And yes, but it varies.
I would recommend, if you haven't yet, just because it's already such a classic, so you might have already read it, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I find a lot of it to really be helpful. And I'll give just one example, which is in general, and I think that this could apply to both male and female. I mean, generally females are more like this and generally males are more like this, but I think sometimes either one goes the other way also, because all of us have both masculine and feminine energy.
Ideally.
But generally, women have been explained to want to vent more and to just let things out. And they are not necessarily looking for a solution when they do that. They want to be held. They want to be comforted. They want to be told it's going to be okay. They want to be told,
"It's gonna be okay, baby. I love you."
That's what I need when I'm when I'm in that mode. Yeah, not to be told, well, if you only did this, well, if you just stop that, well, yeah, because it makes women or the person who's in that moment feel invalidated.
And I would say that goes for either gender, either type of relationship. Something else we have on it is trying to do active listening, which is if you're not sure what somebody says, ask them. Say, this is what I believe I heard. Is this correct? And then they can clarify. Also, rather than saying, you do this, you do that, say, I would like it if this could be different. Using I statements versus you statements are very huge. And for anybody that's still looking for deeper, we didn't talk about in the beginning as we normally do, but we are here as coaches. Mm-hmm. We have, a coaching business that we are trying to build. We do it because we love to help. We are. Yes.
There is no try, only do.
It's true.
Make a force be with you.
We do. Yes.
Yeah, and then to continue what I was saying, while male energy, on the other hand, or guys generally, are more solution-oriented. So that's why they offer solutions when, let's say, someone just wants to vent or wants to cry. They're like, well, do this, do that. And when there's the understanding of the person isn't looking for solutions in that moment and they only want to let out those emotions, then there could be that middle ground. Yeah. I'm just going to take a look at the comments here. No, go ahead and say whatever it is that we're going to say.
We're playing with it.
No, because I was going to look. I'm just looking at the comments. Yeah. No, if there was anything more that you wanted to say.
Well, that for a more deeper clarification upon this, please talk to us. And if you have friends that are interested, please share us, or on YouTube, sponsor us, click like on us. Is that a term? Subscribe to us?
Subscribe on YouTube. Work? Yeah.
Because we have a lot of experience in this together as a team. Through our life experience, we are here to be a coach. We are here to help you
inspire.
Light. Yeah. When you feel you are surrounded by dark, when your path is no longer clear, we can help show you options.
Mm-hmm. And by no means does that mean that the people who are in the position to coach, it doesn't mean that we don't go through our challenges. It never stops,
it's through our challenges that we get wisdom and insight.
Exactly.
It is because of trauma and discourse and all sorts of everything in between where we have come to this place.
Yeah. And there's also the being in the position to help because you're not swimming in that energy that a person is in all the time when they're already troubled. Mm-hmm. So there's more clarity that could be shared or offered on the part of a coach.
Outside of the bubble, there's always going to be a different perspective. When we are looking around, my thumb being an eye, we are always looking out. But what is going on within? That is something that we can help bring clarity to. Having a view of what we're no longer looking at, because there's so much going on in here. The majority of it is in here, but we're always looking out. Being outside of the bubble, being able to help give coaching. When we're not happy, I mean, what does anything matter? We want to help people find clarity and their own truth to be able to find that light within themselves.
Yeah, that is absolutely important. Their own truth. Because two people could be in the same situation, and yet because all that coaching does is ask you questions to help your own truth come out, each person could have a different solution. Yeah.
Like we talked about before, 6 koi fish in a pond, but that's 6 different universes. 6 different perspectives, 6 different views. The way I like to think of it is taking a room that's full of smoke, and we can be that window that lets it out. We're not putting anything new in there. We're just allowing you to be able to see something that's been obscured from your own vision.
Yeah, and it's your own wisdom too. Coaching is not, just to give a brief explanation, it's never, well, ideally, or I'll speak for us then, because other people might have their own definition based on what they do, but the kind of coaching we do is we help you see your truth, come into contact with who you are. It's never, oh no, that's not right, like what you see or what you think. What we think is...
We are a guide.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, never any forcing of other points of view.
Yeah,
it's your point of view that matters.
Yeah, we don't want you to follow our path. We're just helping you see your own. See the options. If there are so many forks in the road, which one should you take? And you know
what? This is what we're going to do pretty soon. I'm not going to give a day or even an estimated time when this is what we're going to do, but so that you can actually experience one-on-one, we'll post something. We'll come up with something, because it's very different when we do love talks. This is very general. It's more like we put information out there based on our personal experiences, and then you take what resonates with you. Whereas when it's one-on-one, it's really focused on you, what you're going through. Yeah.
Or 1-on-2 if it's both of us.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. 1-on-2.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah, so I was going to say also that we've been here almost an hour, so we could start
winding it up. And for anybody on Facebook, we are now on YouTube. Please connect with us there. Keep connecting with us here
as
too.
Well, yeah.
But connect with us there. This is only our 2nd episode on there. And
on YouTube.
And the more that connect with us, the more this love can spread, and the more people we can help, and the more we can,
devote more time to this, because we do, not to say that we don't love the other things we do. He's also a climbing instructor and I'm a makeup artist. But you know how it is. You're divided sometimes. If one thing that you're doing hasn't exactly become super successful yet, you're still doing other things. And we want to give more of our energy to this.
This is something that we've both wanted to do for a long time. It's our paths have
crossed.
Well, have went through many trials and tribulations leading to the clarity, wisdom, experience that brought us together to bring this together.
Because and
now all we need is just you.
Yeah, because we've been doing this work separately, and now our business is about us together. So
it's like a yin and yang, Together you have more of that whole, and not by any means saying that we weren't complete without each other, But understanding
richer
that, what's the term?
energy.
It takes a village, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because by all means, people on their own, on our own, we could do a lot. We could accomplish a lot. It's just
it would be
there's
okay.
An extra layer.
But we want it to be great.
Yeah, there are extra layers to the experience when you are with someone that you enjoy walking the path with. So this is what I'm going to do right now. Before we continue, who wants a reading?
Reading time. Normally we talk about it earlier, but something we do every episode at a random point. We do a reading.
We actually didn't mention
it. Here, actually for quite a while, was making hella big bank doing readings. She is a professional. I have insights and my ability of reading as well, but it's not anything that I've ever made income off of. So I can't state myself to be at her level, but together we do kind of energize each other, and
he's pretty good at it too. I mean, okay, mini story. When we started texting, the very first time we were already reading each other's minds. Like someone would answer the question, the other was only typing at that point, hadn't sent yet. Mm-hmm. And it happened a few times, and that was the very first time.
Before we'd ever even met, yeah.
Yeah, the very first time we texted. Oh. How did that happen? I like asking for the backstory. Like when he says, I love you, I say, how did that happen? And I want to hear.
I'm still wondering.
Because it's different every time, his answer, so I always want to hear it.
I'll keep it PG this time. So, either side, would anybody like a reading? Say yes. Say.
You see what your dad said.
Texting. I don't know if we did a whole lot of sexting. We waited till we were together for that. But so anybody either side would like a reading. Anybody that's in this household, would they like a reading? No. All right.
Okay. All right. I see you, Anna. I'm just going to shuffle this a little bit more. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. It's a pleasure every single time.
We went through most of it. There's a handful of things that we didn't necessarily talk about. Being mindful. Well, no, we talked about being mindful of triggers. We talked about taking time to clarify, make sure that we are all on the same page.
Yeah, if anything's
trying not
confusing.
To jump to conclusions. Mm-hmm. Even if you have said something hurtful, being willing to admit that you were wrong and that you misunderstood. Because oftentimes people can accept that, okay, you were being a jerk. But we all can be like that. It's like we all make mistakes.
Even the best of us, even the sweetest.
It's not as much about the mistake. It's about how do we make up for those mistakes? Can we accept that we made a mistake? Can we make recompense? Is that the word? Recompense. Is that the word?
I know what. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Isn't it recompense?
It might be. I mean,
something like that. Basically, representing that we recognize, we're sorry, we want to make it up to you, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, what is our YouTube page? That's a great question.
Yeah, no, if you type in my name, you'll find it. But it's just youtube.com/Leia Evangelista.
So, again, say it one more time.
youtube.com/Leia Evangelista.
Please click like, click subscribe, click spread that to all the world.
Yeah, because you know what? And I know we just keep going despite the fact that we've been here almost an hour, but we have also been considering vlogging. And it's just that it does take a lot of time and we're doing a lot of stuff.
Eventually we will.
Yeah, so
we've been making homemade pizzas, by the way. This was our third one today. It turned out really well. We'll make a post about that at some point.
The comparison.
Homemade dough, all that good stuff.
And every single one of those pizzas was vegetarian.
Yes, it was. And progressively better each time. Today's was So good.
Yeah, just reading. Oh.
So Anna says, yes, how we rise after we make a mistake. And that thing is, we all can rise after we make a mistake if we choose to recognize that mistake. A lot of people make mistakes and then they go into denial and you know, bring suppression and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's not a mistake if you can recognize what was, and you can grow from it. You can learn from it. You can become a better person. The best lessons are from mistakes or from losses.
Because we feel sometimes like it makes us less of an awesome person if we make mistakes.
It's not true.
So that's why some people do that. Like, I didn't do that at all.
I'm in denial. I'm perfect. My poop smells like sunny flowers and candy and you know, popcorn and sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, we've covered most of the material that we had and that we had ready.
Oh wait, we'll do Big O after the reading.
Yeah, because, and I also wanted to say, because you had mentioned that we were doing a reading earlier in the video. We actually did not mention that this time.
Well, yeah.
But we normally do in the intro.
That's kind of the beginning thing. And the Big O, for those that don't know or have not seen our previous things, it's, you know, that big, juicy, enjoyable thing that generally comes at the end.
Yeah, so in this case, it is... What
is a Big O?
Well, I was going to say what it is in this case, which is if there's only one insight...
Yes. Sorry,
if there's only one insight that we think should be, well, not should, see, it's so absolute.
In our opinion,
it's a pretty big insight
to us,
to leave you with.
Potentially the biggest lesson to take home.
Yeah.
Our memories can only retain so many things. To us, this might be the most worthwhile thing to take home.
Leave you with. Yeah. For the whole topic. Yeah. All right, so here, I have a card that's been sticking out. I haven't taken a look at it because I wanted to see it and then read immediately. So here it is. I pulled the card, and I am going to put the...
Can I be the card bearer?
Well, I need to see it first. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, go ahead. You can show...
Ripeness.
What the card is.
And for us readers down here, ripeness.
Doesn't it look juicy? Are those plums? Are those grapes? Maybe, I don't know. Ripeness.
So this is what I'm getting right off the bat. I'm getting that, you know, that expression, how we never really are ready for anything and there is no dress rehearsal. Like, this is it. This is it. And you are more ready than you think for a certain thing in your life right now. Like, if there was something that I just feel like whatever it is, it's a major step forward. So if there was something that you were considering, you're more ready for it.
So it's been like a build-up, maybe?
Than you think you are. Because sometimes we hold ourselves back thinking, oh, I need to practice more. I need to go to school again. But even if you go to school, you know, because education can be pretty awesome, you know, that doesn't mean that you stop yourself from already embarking on that adventure that's related to why you want to go to school. Yeah, you're more ready than you think you are. And even if you do make mistakes, that's perfectly fine. It adds to your wisdom. You're going to get something out of it. And there's no point really waiting much longer because, you know, tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So might as well enjoy now and be of even more help to others now. Be more of a positive influence right now instead of waiting. Because there's always someone who knows less than we do. Even if we feel like, oh, I'm such a beginner still, there's always someone who knows even less. And being there for people who were once in the position that we were in can make a whole world of difference to them. Yeah. And even to us, of course, in our growth and in fulfilling our purpose. And that is it. That's it for this week's mini reading.
So Anna says, yes, I have been doing that, applying for work again, having last clinical interview and need to review nursing again.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the big O.
Right. So our big O.
For this episode, which
it's the best thing, and it comes at the end.
Yeah, so again, this episode, if you're only joining us now, is about misunderstandings in relationships. And what we are leaving you with is...
Before we do, because, holding out on that big O for as long as possible makes it as juicy as possible, is please check out, this is episode 13. So that means there are 12 other episodes that we have provided on various other aspects of relationships, insights that we, through our life experience, and that which we have gleaned from others, also special guests, have brought forth to help bring insight to yourselves. If you enjoy this, please share. We are out here to be coaches, to be able to help people, as well as we now have a YouTube channel, and that would be
youtube.com/Leia Evangelista. It's the YouTube channel that I've been using since 2009, and I've uploaded so many videos on there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it doesn't even represent the work that I do now, but I have just left those videos up for posterity. Like a lot of makeup videos that don't represent the kind of makeup work that I do now. I have improved and learned so much more over the years, and even the quality of the videos is not that good, but I wanted to start and I wanted to just do it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept all of those up. But there have also been a lot of videos on spirituality, and you'll see my evolution because I was so much younger back then. Since, like I said, I started in 2009. So,
and that too is this amazing individual. Her art is through makeup, and that too is something that is very powerful for her to be able to continue. So anybody who is looking for an incredibly sexy, talented makeup artist to help you out, preferably in the Bay Area, because that is where we are located.
I travel too.
Yeah, we do travel as well.
If you want to book me for your destination wedding, by all means.
Dad, she has not done any makeup on me yet. I keep asking her to, but she says I'm too damn sexy already.
Yeah, it's like you're perfect, just like that.
So to get to the big O, please, but yeah, spread the YouTube. Click like on us, subscribe us for YouTube, show us some love, spread this to friends and family. If coaching, though our goal is to help bring happiness, if you think the money or whatever is too much, spread it to people that might be interested. But all right, the big O, it's about to burst. Go ahead.
That's so funny because I put it in your hands initially. Well, the big O for this episode, which is misunderstandings in relationships, is being open to the possibility that we could be wrong and that what we think is right could change at any time. Also, others' experiences being different from ours does not mean that anyone is wrong or better, just different.
So going back to something we talked about before is we know nothing. We know nothing. We like to think we do, but we don't. The more we can accept that possibility, the more we can be open to what we can learn, what we can grow to.
Yeah.
An empty cup can be filled. A full cup can only overflow.
Yeah. And so that's it. Yeah. And we'll get back to, if there are any comments that
questions,
that
concerns,
stand out,
critiques.
we'll devote an episode in the future to addressing questions and comments that stand out. We have them listed. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Very likely same time, same day.
Do we have an idea?
For our episode next week, unless we get inspired to do something else. The topic that we decided on is leaving relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if you feel like it's time, but you don't know how, or the reasons why people stay even though they have been wanting to go.
Or even questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have any great ideas of topics that you would like us to address, please let us know.
You can comment on the video.
Great, anything and everything with us. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's all about just learning and growing. And on that note, this is Love Talk. I'm Joshua.
I'm Leia. I always think that I'm about to say something, but something else other than my name, but then I hold myself back.
Except for what you just said.
Yeah.
And we're here to bring clarity to that smoky room. Thank you very much.
Bye.